Hey guys, what's going on? Druzy here, back again with another South Park Phone Destroyer video, and returning to an old series that I used to do here on the channel called How to Play series, where I focus on a specific card, primarily usually a card that's new into the game, and kind of give you some tips and tricks on how to play that new card to the best of your potential ability to have the most success with that card. We're going to go over a couple things in today's video. Obviously here on screen we talk about the top 5 cards I think would be best to pair with this card to get the best value out of it. We'll showcase some different strategies and kind of some gameplay of how to kind of play the card and kind of how I used it to kind of give you an idea of how best to utilize them, as well as I will also give you an idea of what I think the best themes overall to pair with this card to give you the best overall gameplay experience. So of course we're going to be talking about Future Randy today, which is the newest card in South Park Phone Destroyer. Now, I will say this at the beginning of this video: if there are any other cards, new or older cards that are into the game that you would like me to do a video on this, please let me know down below in the comment section. It helps me out to kind of keep... I would like to reinvigorate the series again and do it again, but again, I am willing to do it with even older cards that have been in the game for a long time. If there's a specific card you'd really like to see a how-to-play video on, let me know down below. But again, we're going to talk about Future Randy today. So he is the newest card. He just got added in this most recent weekend event, and actually today, at the recording and uploading of this video, he is available in the current event. If you get all the way through the solo path of the current event that's going on, which will end today, then you can get a free copy of this card. Now, you may be able to get free copies of this card later down the road, not just in this at this current time of this video recording, so be wary of that in the future. Obviously, I will let you know with updates on the channel if and when stuff like that does happen. But Future Randy has a War Cry as his main ability, which he warps time, pulling all units in a range towards their leader and freezing them for 3 seconds, and affected allies, so your allies are healed while the opponents are frozen. So this is a very unique card. Future Randy is probably one of the strongest tanks, and in my opinion, the best defensive card actively currently in the game. I did not see this card coming, nor did many of us at the announcement of this card, because we already have Randy in every theme. Now we ultimately have him in everything, because now he has a neutral version, which he of course is a neutral card. You can pair additional Randys with this Randy card. That means any other Randy currently in the game at the time of this recording is available to be used with this Randy, and you can deploy both Randys at the same time. So you can use, say, 69 Randy and Future Randy at the same time, Poco Randy, or even Mary Jane Randy at the same time. So keep that in mind. If that's something you want to do with deck builds and things like that, you can have 2 Randys in your deck and they can be on the field simultaneously. So that is something that's really cool. Similar to Cupid Cartman. Cupid Cartman can be played with any other Cartman card at the same time as well. So think of both those as kind of the similar in that regard only, not in anything else, because honestly they're completely different cards other than that. But there you go. Future Randy has an insane health pool, one of the better health pools right now in the game. This could be tweaked or nerfed at a future date. We don't know yet. And then his damage is kind of minuscule, but he's a tank card. He's not designed to do a lot of damage. But there are some great cards you can pair with him to give him the best possibility of all that additional damage. And let's talk about what I think are the top 5 cards to pair with Future Randy at this time. Alright, so quickly we're going to look here at the cards on screen. So these here are my top 5 cards to pair with him, although I do have 5 or 6 here on screen. But we'll talk about that real quick. So I think Archangel Bradley is one of, if not probably one of the better cards to pair with him. The primary reason for that is Archangel Bradley's current ability, which focuses on aiding tanks, giving them a maximum health boost, and creating a slow aura around them, which makes them much more efficient as tank units. Now, Archangel Bradley was fairly weak when he first came out of the game. He has been buffed as of recently, so he's actually in a better state, and it could change, you know, down the road. I don't know, you know, maybe a year from now in this video, Archangel Bradley could be completely different, or there could be better cards to pair with Future Randy. But I really like Archangel Bradley. I think he's really great for any tank card, doesn't matter what it is, in my opinion. Dar is a great pick for Future Randy for the main reason of Dar is a unit that can bring back any 5-cost unit or less, which Future Randy is a 5-cost card unit. So as long as Future Randy is at least half health, you can use Dar to bring Future Randy back, and that is a huge boost to be able to utilize his amazing War Cry multiple times. His War Cry is very good. It is obviously subject to change down in the future, but as of right now, is very strong, and therefore Dar, utilizing the fact that you can use the Warcry multiple times, why would you not want that as a possibility in your deck? So I would definitely say Dar is a great addition. War Hero Ned, I think, is a good card to pair with it as well. Also, similar to Archangel Bradley, focusing on boosting tank units. So with Ned, every basic attack that he does heals the closest allied tank by half of his attack that he is doing. So you're going to get that consistent health boost back to Future Randy, assuming that Future Randy is the closest tank to War Hero Ned. So that is something that could be really nice and utilize and pair with him. That's just an easy card to pair with. And War Hero Ned's in a good state at the current moment. He could get better, could get worse down the road, but as of right now, he's actually not in too bad of a spot in this kind of thing. So these next 4 cards kind of bunched up: Scuzzlebutt, Manbear Pig, Hunter Jimbo, and S-Wow Tittybane. The reason why I have all these cards on screen is because honestly, I think one of the best things you can do with Future Randy is to pair him with multiple or an additional tank. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's going to make War Hero Ned a little bit less efficient because he's only going to focus on the nearest tank. Well, if you strategize and place your cards correctly, you could get the ability to have Future Randy be the focus of the heal, or a different tank could be the focus of the heal for War Hero Ned. That's not really your biggest burden. But then you could also utilize Archangel Bradley multiple times by having multiple tanks potentially slow other cards around those units as well. I think that any tank, regardless of what it is, could be a great useful benefit to Future Randy. The main reason, again, Future Randy is a neutral card. He can be paired with any of the additional themes, as long as there's at least 2 and all that kind of stuff. So he has a wide variety of versatility within decks just because he's neutral, so he doesn't really hurt you in that regard. And Scuzzlebutt and Manbear Pig are good options just because they're both neutral as well. They are high cost, so there is that risk reward there. But Scuzzlebutt, his ability is really nice. If Scuzzlebutt were to die, that Death Wish, remember, would make that card immune to harmful spells and would also give a max health boost back on top of someone like Future Randy. So if you play Scuzzlebutt correctly, pair Future Randy with him, kind of similar, you could potentially time it out pretty well. Now the problem is that with Future Randy doing his Warcry initially, it might be best to do the Warcry right around the time that Scuzzlebutt would die, or right before, while Scuzzlebutt is at low health, and then you would be able to potentially have Future Randy there. But then at the same time, remember, Future Randy is going to add that heal. So Scuzzlebutt could be weird as far as being able to utilize that kind of strategy together. But if you can pull it off, it actually probably could be pretty solid. But again, I don't know. That's up to you. I think Scuzzlebutt's kind of fun, but he's really only useful at like level 6 right now. So there's that. I think Hunter Jimbo is a good, solid choice to go with it as well. S-Wow Tittybane, you could use any tank that you want from any of the themes, but because I can only put 2 themes on this to showcase this like this, then that's why I have S-Wow Tittybane there. I mean, Priest Maxi would probably work fairly well. You'd be able to have that additional heal there with all that kind of stuff if you utilize Priest Maxi instead of S-Wow Tittybane. It's gonna come down to your card levels, your what you're able to do with your kind of deck and stuff like that. I think Grand Wizard Cartman could potentially work well. Any of the other Randy options or any of the other tank options you'd want. Slave could probably be pretty solid. It's kind of up to you. There's some freedom here, again, because he's a neutral card, so you have a lot of variety there. But I feel like, honestly, in this slot as far as number 4 for the top 5, any tank really is useful. It could be more than one. It could be a bunch. It could just be one. It's kind of up to you and your playstyle and what you'd like to do. I really like, in the next spot, any of the Kyles, but primarily Ninju, I think could be the best. Ninju's going to give you that immediate Warcry of immediate attack boost, which again, Future Randy's a tank. He's not going to be doing a ton of damage. So having Ninju to be able to just immediately give you that initial boost of extra damage output is going to be insane. Plus, to best utilize Future Randy, in my opinion, you need as many units on the field as possible while deploying him. And so with Ninju, you're already going to have hopefully a bunch of units already out there. So you already have a bunch of units. Plus you could have Ninju boost all those units and make them stronger. It's just a ridiculous combination to have altogether. Now there are a couple of different cards you could argue here in this 5 slot. It could be any of the Kyles. It could be Kyle the Drow Elves to give you that shield. Human Kite above could also shield Future Randy. It could be even Bounty Hunter Kyle could be increasing your damage output slowly, and if it's killing units, it could also be healing Randy at the same time. So there's a lot of variety here, but I think just any of the Kyle units as of right now could be a solid addition to really help Future Randy out. And again, member berries could be also pretty solid as well to pair member berries to have a whole bunch of other cards be deployed out into the field potentially. And member berries works best with being behind any kind of tank card. So there are a lot of variety and options here to go with Future Randy. That's kind of the main strengths of the card, is by being neutral and it being a solid tank card overall. There's just a lot of different cards you could pair with it to make it really good. But now that we've talked about possibly the top 5, let's go ahead and look real quickly at what I think the best themes are to pair with Future Randy. And these are my themes here, the list here on screen. So I think the best theme to pair with it is Mystical. Mystical has a lot of great variety to help Future Randy out. It has a lot of healing potential. It has the, Pope Timmy. You could potentially summon him on the field initially. You have Dar again is great. Ninju is great. Archangel Bradley is amazing. And in this theme, there's just a lot of variety and a lot of pairing that you could do with Mystical right now. I think Mystical really pairs well with any tank, but Future Randy especially. I would go with Superheroes at number 2. Some of you might debate this, but superheroes are just so freaking strong right now. They're so good. And this could be something to change. Superheroes could eventually get nerfed into the ground, but as of right now, it's one of the strongest, if not arguably the strongest theme right now in the game. So because of that, there's just so much variety, so much pairing that you can have with Future Randy. Again, you could have other tanks like Coon with Call Girl. You could have Mintberry Crunch to be able to provide additional healing and air support. There's just so much stuff. So Superheroes is really strong right now. A lot of great units. So it's just going to be great to help support a tank. I think Adventure's really good. Remember, you got Ned as an option in Adventure. You've also got, Jimbo, I think can pair fairly well. Now, Jimbo's not going to do anything to boost Future Randy specifically, but it could boost a bunch of range cards. Range cards really seem to work really well with any tank, provide that additional support and damage output. And right now there are a couple of solid range cards for Adventure, and that could be subject to change with balance changes. But as of right now, with Ned or maybe Ink and Craig, and you could use Psalm, you can use a variety of different things to help Future Randy be better. So there's kind of all those kind of things. I would say Fantasy could work well. Fantasy has a lot of units that you could potentially add as additional swarm, things like Chicken Coop. You could have another tank, right, with Grand Wizard Cartman, with Slave. There's a lot of variety with it. Castle Defender could be utilized really well. It could have that range and then that initial tank to be paired along with it. So I think there's a lot of variety as well with Fantasy that can be used really well. Kyle of the Drow Elves would be good. You could also use additional range with Amazingly Randy, stuff like that. So that could be good. Robin Tweak could help provide additional boost of health and stuff like that to Future Randy. So all that stuff could be a positive. I have Sci-Fi in last, but if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really think any theme specifically is the weakest with Future Randy. I think, again, because he's a neutral card, that's just a huge positive for him, the fact that you can utilize so many different strategies, so many different theme combinations, things like that. But I think Sci-Fi could be the weakest. Sci-Fi is very heavy in fighters right now. Their tank units are very minimal and not that great, but they have some great support assassins, some great range cards in this theme, especially with something like Visitors, or Bounty Hunter Kyle could help Future Randy. So there are some options here. You could also add the speed boost with Hyperdrive and things like Warboy Tweak and stuff like that. So there is a lot of potential that Sci-Fi could add to it. I didn't utilize Sci-Fi personally when I played with Future Randy, but I'm not saying it's bad. Honestly, I think every theme pairs well with him as of right now. So therefore, you could utilize any theme combination you really want. But honestly, if I'm going with what I really honestly think is the best theme pairings, this would be my list as of right now. But again, that's subject to change. Let me know down below what you think, if you agree, disagree with that. But now let's just talk about some quick strategies and potential combinations you could have with Future Randy as of right now. So obviously, the number one suggestion I would have when playing with Future Randy is, of course, don't make Future Randy your lead card when you deploy units. Obviously, Future Randy with his Warcry functions best, in my opinion, when there's multiple units on the field at that time of his deployment, especially for you as allied units or even for opponent units. The only time I would deploy him on the field is if I'm going to lead off with him, is only in a defensive nature, because remember, the Warcry is going to be pushing those enemy units all the way back to their new kit. You can utilize Future Randy in a variety of situations where there could be a time where you need to use it more as a defensive strategy to hold off them, potentially getting a bar to tie the matchup and potentially force sudden death, or for you to help you be able to secure a victory in the match by pushing all their units back to the opposite side. Again, I really think that Future Randy is probably currently the best defensive card in the game right now, and the main utilization and reasoning for that is obviously for what I just said, that huge defensive potential you can have in helping you secure a victory. It's also very good at helping you boost your own units by giving you that healing back. If you have some units that are close to death and you'd like to get them back to a better state, you can really utilize Future Randy at being able to give you a little bit of a solid boost to healing. Not a overall ginormous boost to healing, but something that's, fairly substantial that could help turn the tide of a push for you. So Future Randy, solid card all in all. Probably an A-tier card, maybe even an S-tier card in certain situations, but he is situational. Future Randy isn't the most OP card in the game right now, in my opinion. That would probably go to something like Member Berries, but at least at the recording of this video, that is. But Future Randy, solid card overall, very strong if utilized correctly, and there's just a lot of situations where honestly I think he can help you in a push or in a match more than he can hurt you. But card level is going to matter and things like that, as well as where you are in ladder. So it may not be possible for you to be super successful right away with Future Randy, but you could turn the tides of a lot of matches in your favor if you utilize them correctly and kind of learn different strategies to utilize them. I've showcased some gameplay for you here on screen with some different strategies that I use, some different decks that I use with Future Randy, and overall, I think that hopefully this could give you a good idea of how to best utilize this card and hopefully be the most efficient with Future Randy. Alright guys, well I really hope that this video helped you out today, kind of give you an idea of how to best utilize Future Randy in your hopeful South Park Phone Destroyer experiences going forward. Obviously I will update this if any major changes happen to this card and things like that. I also, like I said earlier at the beginning, or towards the beginning of this video, if there are any other cards like this that you would like to see kind of how to play videos like this, please let me know down below in the comment section. It really helps me kind of get an idea of what you guys want to see, and hopefully will help you be able to have a better Phone Destroyer experience. Really kind of missed this series, and I'm going to try to do the best I can with all the new cards coming out to really utilize this format again and really add this to my rotation here on the channel, because I'm trying to help you guys as best I possibly can be better at the game, although I'm not really that great at it either. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please like the video. Please show this to people, because we want to make everybody as good as we possibly can at this game, right? Or are we all going to be selfish and only want ourselves to be good and everybody else be bad? I don't know. I guess we'll find out with how many people watch this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video as always. And until next time, guys, you know who it is.